So I'm here today, ready to talk to you about one thing. I just want to make this video quick. You know, this is going to be probably a 10-minute show. I don't know how long it's going to be. So, Aurora Cannabis finally performed their stock split. Bravo, Aurora. Thank you for finally doing it. And as expected, it went down like most reverse stock splits do. And the share price went down. How far will it go down? It may go back up. Who knows? Maybe millennial investors will get pissed and they'll keep buying and they won't even sell. Maybe they'll buy and hold. The problem with Aurora is they've lied too much to the shareholders. They've switched management too much. There's no insiders anymore. There's no interest even by the insiders to keep it going. I think it could be a very large pump and dump scheme now, but it could be bought out by a big company. So this is why I tell everybody, hold your shares. Hold them for the long term. But in the meantime, capitalize on the fact that they're a fucking train wreck. That's why I've been buying put contracts like crazy. One thing I can say is, why do you buy put contracts? What's the point of buying a put contract? There are several good reasons to buy puts. Many good reasons. One good reason is when a stock goes down, when it just goes down like crazy, you could take full advantage of it. If it goes below the strike price of the put contract itself, you can make more money. You could sell the contract to somebody who really wants it and can buy the shares at the whatever price they end up, and then sell them back to the person who made the contract for money, profit. So put contracts are your best bet. Put contracts are your best friend when it comes to a penny stock. And look, Aurora thinks it's fooled us. It hasn't. I think it's still a penny stock. I really do. And they're going to fall lower. Nothing about them screams a good company. I mean, their pot production is out of this world, and I think that they have enough liquidity and enough assets overall that if a company was to buy them, woohoo, it would skyrocket. Seriously, if a big company bought them out, they honestly could, by the way. There's a reason. So there's one of the reasons why I hold Aurora Cannabis in such high regard. Just in case. Because look, if like a Warren Buffett sort of figure decided to put a shit ton of money down, even did an aggressive buyout of the company, maybe they could. You know, I mean, it's valued under $1 billion. There's got to be some sort of crazy billionaire person who's willing to spend the money to own majority stake of it. And if that actually happened, then... But then, I don't know if there's anybody who wants to see if the company could turn around, and I don't know if there's anybody who can... Sorry about the technical difficulties, by the way. Thank you guys for putting up with these. This is filmed in the car, and it's not perfect. But yeah, it's just a lot of factors that weigh in on all this. But look, Aurora Cannabis is probably not a good bet. At least it's not a good bet to buy it, right? Where do you draw the line? So that's why I bet against it. Look, it's a penny stock, right? It was a penny stock until they did the reverse stock split to make it seem like it's worth more. It's not. They're going to dilute their shareholders again and again and again. This is the problem with Aurora Cannabis that I've seen. They dilute their shareholders. They F their shareholders. They don't give two shits about their shareholders. By the way, I'm going to take this down because it's technical difficulties anyway. Anyway, thank you guys for putting up with the poor video quality here. I'm just going to hold it in place. My thing on this episode is, let's try to get back to where we need to go, right? Try to get our finances right. And I think you guys can get your finances right if you bet against it. I bet against it. This is just I still don't stay. Don't get rid of your shares if you haven't already. Buy and hold, baby. Buy and hold. But be wary, you know. That's why they're telling you guys. This is why I own a bunch of shares. This is why I own a bunch of put contracts. These contracts will allow me to survive and thrive, basically, if it goes down. So betting against it's a good thing. I'm interested to see what kind of put contracts are placed out on the market now that it's at another reverse stock split, because going to fall lower. Look, it's not a good company anymore. It was at first. I really loved it. I invested heavily in it, but then I realized it's like, look, this is not a good company. It's not. And it's about time we at least acknowledge that. Problem is nobody's acknowledging it. Nobody has been. So I make a plea to you guys. Buy your put contracts when you can. It's not too late to buy any. You can still buy more. How far? Here's the question everybody wants to ask. How far will Aurora Cannabis crash? That's my question. The truth is, nobody knows. I don't even really know when it'll crash. It could crash even further tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to go bankrupt. I'm just saying the value of it's going lower and lower. Now, earnings are coming up on the 14th. Keep in mind, there's a few things you could do to win on earnings. For one, look, earnings is a complicated thing sometimes. Not like super complicated or anything, but earnings can be a bitch. Because their earnings could end up being fantastic, and we probably have not even known it. Look, they have a lot of weed, and there was a lot of people trying to buy weed, trying to hoard it. So their earnings report actually might be good. But for how long will their earnings report be good? This may be a temporary thing. I'm more long-term. So if their earnings report's good, I'm buying more put contracts. Look, the reason I'm buying more put contracts is simple. It's not a stable company. It just isn't. I love the premise behind the company. They're very interesting, but they're not going to be around for all that long. It's kind of more of a pump and dump, and I really hate to admit it. But no, I want to thank you guys so much for viewing this. I want to end on a more positive note. Look, betting against things is not always fun. I like betting against shares, companies I feel are just not good companies. And it's my responsibility to find those companies and short them and make money off of it. Am I good at this? Yes. I am very good at finding these companies. It's scary. I'm very good at finding the ones that are about ready to do a reverse stock split. I figure it out. I read news articles. I read the earnings reports. How long have they been a penny stock? What's their market cap? What's their PE ratio? Are they overvalued? Is it a pump and dump? Is it just positive news upon positive news when there's really no reason for it to be positive? It's just nothing but rumor. Look, I love the cannabis industry. I'll be the first to admit it. I think it's awesome. I really think the cannabis industry is cool. I'm a big fan. Up until recently, I worked for one. I'm not going to disclose which one, but they're really cool, really good. Do I like betting against stocks? No. I would prefer to just buy them outright and then make a shit ton of money. That's the way I envisioned it when I first started. I never thought I'd become a short seller. And then I realized, well, one, you can make a lot of money short selling. Two, there's just a shit ton of fucking bad companies, man. And three, a lot of the profits I make from short selling the bad companies, I put into really, really good companies that have good company structure. Coca-Cola is a great example. Especially the ones that are going to get really hit hard. I think Coca-Cola is going to get kind of hit hard. But like good companies though, they have good fundamentals, they keep up with the times, they're really customer centric. Those are the where I put the money. Once I make the money from those shitty companies by betting against them, I put it into good companies and then get a dividend payout. Look, short selling is not as evil as everybody thinks it is. It's actually kind of fun. I do kind of enjoy it. I mean, a part of me doesn't want to enjoy it, but a part of me does enjoy it. It's a very complicated thing. Look, I want you guys to continue to invest. Be smart about how you invest. And just be aware of those scams. Don't fall for the penny stocks. I hear so many of my generation fall for the penny stock thing, and it just baffles me, man, and I just don't get it. Don't think that just because it's a low value means it's a value. Look, not all companies that are penny stocks are good values. In fact, 9 times out of 10 of them, they fail. They fail hard. And look, maybe they didn't have much of a chance. Maybe they're in a shitty industry. It's possible. I don't think any of these companies make a company. I don't think any of these people who make a company go in thinking, I'm going to fuck my shareholders. No, I don't think that's the case. There are some, though. Not all. But there are just some companies that just don't know how to manage. They're just managed poorly. That's all I got to say. I wish they were managed better. But no, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Look, tune in next week. I'll have more material. As always, I'm going to have more material. I will never stop. I'll keep doing this because it's so much fun. I make a lot of money. And I'll be able to retire way earlier than most people, I'll admit it. So, keep short selling. Keep buying stock. That's all I got to say. I never do calls anyway. I never know when the market's going to go back up. I can figure out when something's going down. I can't figure when it's going to go back up. It's really tough to say. Investor pessimism. Look, it's easier to spot pessimism and fear than it is to spot optimism when it's going to happen. Optimism just kind of springs up one day. You don't know when it will happen. So that's just kind of how emotion rolls. And my investment strategy is similar to how emotion works. It's a lot of pessimism. And I go for the worst one. So if it's a pessimistic time, everybody's selling. And there's a lot of penny stocks out there. Well, I want to be buying those puts, baby. I'll be betting against multiple companies. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Thanks for putting up this rant. Love you guys. Bye.